In this session, I'm going to explain on how you can share a doc using Google Docs, as well as creating documents, working with spreadsheets versus the Microsoft Word comparable. But before I do that, I want to kind of explain that Google Docs is not meant to replace Word. Word will do many things that Google Docs just can't handle. And I should also note that they don't play very nicely together. So with that said, you want to consider what are you going to be using the document for. If you want to share and collaborate, Google Docs is the obvious choice. But if you're going to be keeping it just for yourself on your drive and you want to have some more sophisticated editing in it, you're probably going to want to use Microsoft Word. So here you're looking at a document that was created in Word. My wife had actually made this for her 3rd grade class, and she needed to send it to me for me to print for her, and she sent it as a Google Doc. Makes sense because she wanted to share it. But when I received the Google Doc, what it looked like is this. So you can see that it actually completely dropped one of the images, and all of the text is shifted around. It did not transfer very nicely at all. I was actually just working yesterday with a cross-country document, and and this was in Excel, all of the rows shifted, all of the row heights were different, so there isn't necessarily a good transfer back and forth between the two. One more example of this is, here's a document it's been shared by Google Docs, but because it has the docx and it has these options over here, save in Google Docs, edit online, it has not actually been converted to a Google Doc yet. So this is nice for sharing the document. I can preview it, see what it looks like, but I have absolutely no editing abilities right now. I can just kind of highlight it, copy and paste it, but I can't type in this document. If I want to be able to type in the document, I'm going to click Edit Online, but watch what's going to happen with this document. Well, this is actually surprising to me. Last time I did this, it did convert, but it says, sorry, this type of file is not supported by Google Docs. Let's see if I can save it to Google Docs and then edit it. Here's the document that was there. And I want to be able to edit it, so I need to go File, Export to Google Document. The exporting to Google Document actually allows me to, right now this is still just viewable. And there you go, there's the conversion. And you can see that it's completely messed up from the original. So from that to that. So Google Docs does not always convert nicely. So it's just something to take into consideration before you start creating a really nice document in one program or the other, and then you go to transfer it to the other program. It may not necessarily work. So my recommendation is, whatever you're going to be creating, try to stick with that program strictly. Now, let's go ahead and say I'm going to create a new document. From Drive, I can just come over here and hit Create, and I've got options, and Document is comparable to Word, Presentation is comparable to PowerPoint, Spreadsheet comparable to Excel. Forms and spreadsheets kind of work hand in hand. There's not really a Microsoft comparable for that, and same with drawing. So we're going to just go ahead and do a basic document. Now, when you create a document, the first thing I like to do is get a name for it. You don't have a save as option or anything like that. If I were to, it basically save as is equivalent to make a copy. So I'm just going to go ahead and call this sample document. Now, you'll also notice that there's no save button over here, and you don't see a save button anywhere else. That's because it's always saving for you. Right here it says all changes saved. So as I type, you're going to notice that it's saying saving right there. It's always saving. So you don't need to worry about that. That is one of the really nice features of Google Docs. But now if I were to compare some of the functions on the toolbar here compared to Word, now keep in mind this is the newest Word. This is Word 2000. I don't know if they're calling it 2013 or just Word 13 right now. But this obviously has a lot more features to it. So that is another difference between Google Docs and Word is feature rich, whereas Google Docs is just for a plain document. So if you just need a couple paragraphs typed out, or if you want to have the kids do a couple paragraphs, Google Docs is definitely the way to go. Anything fancy, stick with Word. Now I've got a document here. Let's say, for example, I want to share this document. I can come over here and hit the share button in the top. And just by hovering over it right now, you see it's private only to me. So when you do create a Google document, nobody else can see your work unless you allow them to. So I'll click that. And here's who can see it. I am the owner of this document. This is my link, but it's only accessible to collaborators, and right now there aren't any. So there's a couple of things I can do. I can give very specific people access, so I can click in here and start typing a name. And so I'm giving Marcus Novak permission, and he can edit. And I can change that. I can make it so he can just comment, or he can just view it. But maybe I want to make this available to everybody. What I can do is I can come up here and hit change. So I can make it available to anybody within our district, or anybody with the link. I could even make it available public on the web, so people could even search and find this document. I don't really see a reason why you would use this option. Maybe if you have a great lesson plan and you want to share it with the world, you could do that. But I do often use anyone with the link. Otherwise, it's typically within the district. So that's pretty much the rundown on how to share a document. And you're going to find that that is the case through all of them. Now, one of the other neat features is if I'm allowing Marcus to view the document, we can actually work on this document at the same time. Now, it can get kind of interesting in Word because you'll both be typing something and you can actually see each other typing. But as you're working on it, you can come over here and leave comments on the document. So maybe you're not working on it at exactly the same time, but you're taking turns. You can leave comments as to what was done. The other thing you can actually do is once you've made some changes, multiple people are making changes, you can actually see what those previous changes were. And I'll just go ahead and pull up a spreadsheet as well. And this spreadsheet, you can see it's got really the same features. I can go ahead and click share, and I can choose either to share it with anybody with the link or with very specific people down here. That is the basics of sharing with Google Docs and creating a Google document. If you have any questions, feel free to contact the Creek Squad. Thank you.